Hello everyone, welcome to Story Retold. Calina here, continuing to react to Arglefumph's Everything Wrong with Nancy Drew. And this is for Shadow at the Water's Edge, and I'm going to be a little bit defensive on this one because this is where I was an intern for Her Interactive, and I actually worked on some of the parts of this game, mostly just audio and testing the game. I know the game has its faults, so let's see how it matches up with what I know. Let's see. Okay. Oh, we have audio. There are spoilers. FYI.
If you want to know the particulars of how I do what I do, take a look at the book.
Nancy loves candy so much, she can't stop eating while she's talking.
Audio overlay, yeah.
Staying at is known as one of the scariest places in the city. I'm not sure why people say that.
Nancy books a hotel without reading any online reviews first. Considering how many awful places she's been, you'd think she would do that all the time. This is the only time Takai works at the front desk.
Yeah.
Takai and Miwako turn to look at the painting before it starts shaking.
Oh, you hear it, though.
Nancy goes on vacation and accidentally uncovers a mystery cliché.
Cliché, yeah.
Do you believe me now? She does not want her here. Tell her to go. Now.
Before Nancy first arrives, Takai already believes that Kasumi's ghost hates her. Why?
Because that picture frame was supposed to be like a sign, and that's what Takai believes.
Room is on the second floor. I've already had your bag set up.
How did Nancy's luggage arrive before she did? Nancy's
Well, I mean, she it's possible she dropped it off, and went to go see Bess and George.
train passes in her luggage. How did she get here without it?
Good point.
No? Okay.
George and Nancy ignore Bess's questions. George and Nancy are jerks. So Nancy can only use the bathroom every other day? That's inconvenient.
In reality, I think it's hourly, but this helps to distinguish exactly when, I think. I'm not entirely sure.
The bathrooms are located far away from the rooms.
Bathing rooms, yeah. I mean, I guess it's unnecessary to showcase toilets in the game.
Cultural lessons are from 7 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. These are awful hours.
That might be the only hours when people are back from doing whatever they're doing.
Especially now.
What do you mean, especially now?
Are you here for a lesson today?
Multiple times, Takai ignores what Nancy says and talks about something else. Takai is a jerk.
Yeah.
It's a book to help in the chest.
Nancy doesn't get a chance to read the helpful book before doing the writing challenge.
Not
Actually, the
necessarily.
helpful writing book is not helpful in the slightest.
Right.
Nope, that doesn't look right. Better start again.
This puzzle is way too picky.
I agree. I was reading the design notes for this, or the production notes, and it was set to 90% accuracy. So yes, they made it a real challenge. I think they could have dropped it by 10%. Like 80% accuracy would have been a little bit easier.
Fortunately, Takai has an infinite number of papers with Nancy's name on them.
I'll have it brought to your room.
That is so not the name I wrote.
No, it's a better version.
It's called River Heights. It's in...
Oh, okay.
Rentaro interrupts Nancy. Rentaro is a jerk.
It was strategic, though.
Or not. I was not always the saint you see standing before you.
Rentaro is sitting, not standing.
Semantics.
Can I have another Sudoku puzzle?
Here you go.
Whenever Nancy solves a puzzle, she has to go back to Rentaro to get a new one. Why? Does she really need him to turn the pages of the book for her?
I'm wondering if he's inserting pages.
Nancy can't interact with any of the other guests.
Yeah, too bad, huh?
We're told that most of the Ryokan's guests are ghost hunters, but the only ones we see are normal people.
Screaming at all hours of the night.
Nancy never hears anyone scream at night.
How many nights has this happened for? Well, maybe it's in the other wing.
Conveniently for the animation department, we only see the guests from behind.
Yeah.
Nancy sees one guest leave, but 3 families are taken off the roster.
Yeah, so she doesn't see the other families leave. I mean, they probably left when Nancy's not around.
Miwako should be used to dealing with scared guests by now, but all she does is stand still and say nothing. She is awful at customer service.
She's working on it.
Rentaro. Who is he?
Oh, Rentaro, he's my boyfriend.
Nancy continues to mispronounce Rentaro's name,
Right.
even when Miwako and Rentaro say it correctly in front of her multiple times.
Well, not everyone is proficient at picking up pronunciations, but yes, Nancy could have, since this was pre-recording, it could have been better.
What do you think of Rentaro?
Yumi doesn't pronounce Rentaro's name correctly.
I know.
I should really get back to my paperwork.
What paperwork? Your desk is empty.
She just wants to get away from talking to Nancy.
This could be useful.
Nancy doesn't take the envelopes with her, even though she uses 2 envelopes later on in the game.
Yeah, why would she need to take it right now? She doesn't need it until later.
Nancy doesn't get in trouble for grading homework incorrectly.
This is subjective. It's a fun activity for you to solve.
How did Nancy get a job as a teacher in Japan when she doesn't know any Japanese?
It's not necessary. It's possible for a teacher of an English teacher to teach English without knowing the other languages.
Does Nancy's boyfriend know she has a hot guy as her phone background? Why aren't Bess and George staying at the Ryokan? It's not like there isn't room for them.
Yeah, I don't know.
This says the system uses an 8x8 grid, but it's a 4x4 grid.
Oh, good catch.
I'll be teaching then. I should set the alarm for later. Can't set my alarm for then. I'll be at the school.
Nancy teaches school from 4 a.m. to 7 p.m. That is 15 hours a day.
Oh yeah, I guess she does say that during that time. That must have been one of the randomized selections for not being able to do that. So it would have made sense if we had like audio to explain that she is sleeping during certain hours, or getting ready for school, or traveling to school before actually teaching at the school.
Nancy teaches school for 15 hours a day, and she spends every night investigating.
Yeah.
How is she not exhausted?
Right?
Nancy works 15 hours a day on her free vacation to Japan.
You know, actually, we don't really know. Well, I mean, I know it's incorrect to have the audio say that for Nancy, but I think it was intended that Nancy would sleep until the time it was to go to the school, and we don't know exactly when that is.
Suki does not make for a good guard if literally anyone can turn her off.
Anyone who knows the password.
Are you able to find the word to calm Suki?
Yeah, it's mate.
The code word to stop Suki is stop. That is not a good code word. A thief could easily turn her off by accident. The game makes a big deal about Nancy not seeing her reflection in the mirror, even though she doesn't have a reflection in any of the other games.
Yeah, but they make a big deal about it, especially with Nancy being able to talk to Rentaro. The thing is, Her Interactive was cluing in on the jokes on the message boards and on social media and online about how no one can see Nancy's reflection. So they were joking online. The fans were joking online that she was a vampire. So the writing team decided to acknowledge that joke and insert that dialogue just for their fun.
Rentaro never fixes the mirror.
Yeah.
It's important.
No, it doesn't. It's a card with angry animal pictures on it.
But it has a magnetic strip, so it's to be used.
Good thing someone left a pachinko card with unlimited plays here.
I know, right?
There is no supervision at all in the baths, even though someone drowned here.
Nobody drowned in this one. It was the other baths that was drowned, and therefore they sealed off that room.
You're seeing things. It is just your imagination.
Miwako accuses Nancy of seeing things and dismisses all of her complaints.
Yeah.
Like I said, she is bad at customer service. You can't go back and forth between the origami puzzle and the origami book.
Oh, yeah, that's not fair.
Give away the secret phrases unless you buy one of the cats.
Why is buying a robot cat not an option?
It's expensive.
Give me this monster puzzle to solve, but I'm too busy with expo stuff to solve it right now.
So have Bess do it. Don't bother me. George doesn't have time to solve this puzzle, but she has enough time to ride all the way to the Ryokan to drop it off and ride out there again to pick it up.
Are you judging how competent George is at solving puzzles? Not everybody's really good at that stuff.
George doesn't meet up with Nancy during either of her 2 trips to the Ryokan.
Animation.
And the guy told George, for such a captivating, beautiful, gorgeous girl, he'd be willing to make an exception.
The game follows up on Bess and Logan's date, but it doesn't follow up on Suki's creator flirting with George.
I think that ended there.
This puzzle.
I like that
Who
puzzle.
put the certificate and newspaper article behind the portrait, and why?
Probably one of the members of the Ryokon.
Why does the text box split this up into 2 lines? This puzzle. This puzzle. In real life, these train trips take hours.
Yeah?
Pachinko reused from Game 13.
Yeah.
Nancy's shoulders are 2 different colors.
I think that is a sticker right there. And this is her hair, and that's her hair. Highlighted here.
The pachinko parlor. Try using the machine on the right. I have it on good authority. That one has much better odds.
Why would they make one machine pay out more than the others?
I don't know.
And why does anyone use the other machines?
Good question.
Comic looks interesting. I should check it out.
The game forces you to buy this comic so Nancy will learn about EVP.
Yeah, it's kind
This
of
is a
odd.
complete waste of time because Savannah's book also talks about EVP in way more detail.
Oh.
Random piece of paper discarded on a subway is crucial for solving a puzzle later on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, not everybody presumes how puzzle boxes operate. This is to clue in the player to know what it is when they see it and how to use it. But you're right, it's randomly placed, so it should have made sense to hide it in the Ryokon someplace.
George and Bess are on the other side of this door, but they won't come out to talk to Nancy.
They're not right there. Have you been to conventions? Conventions are huge. Who knows how big the expo hall is?
Bento the Yumi way.
Nancy does everyone else's chores cliche.
Yeah, well, Yumi is kind of inflicting her bossiness here.
Yumi puts a stranger in charge of her stand and runs away. She is bad at her job.
Yeah,
Making bento.
I know.
The bento boxes you make don't match with the various combinations on the bento menu.
It's customized.
Here's my key.
Yumi is okay with giving her apartment key to some random girl she just met.
I know, right?
Too busy to talk.
How are you busy? There's no one else here.
Prep. Online orders?
075-021-5855.
Nancy gets Yumi's phone number, but Yumi doesn't get Nancy's.
Yeah.
So how is Yumi able to send Nancy messages?
Yeah, good point. That is never ever cleared up.
Yumi hates Savannah's book to the point where she ripped out a chapter, but she still likes it enough to keep it on her bed.
Yeah.
Love that last picture of you and Bess.
Yeah, I love that one.
Love that last picture you sent.
Yeah, I love that one.
Yumi clearly has no idea what Nancy is talking about.
I think she does.
Bess and George hang out with Yumi, but not with Nancy. Bess and George are bad friends.
Well, Bess and George get to have fun during the day while Nancy goes to teach. Yeah, they're enjoying themselves without waiting for Nancy.
Who has passwords like this?
Yeah, good question.
Why does Yumi have this DVD?
That's a good question. I think maybe the culprit actually sent that to her to scare her off too. Maybe?
Nancy puts the DVD in upside down.
Unless it's blank on the top. The CDs kind of look similar on both sides.
You're that Nancy girl who's been driving my assistant to distraction back this last week.
Nancy called Logan once, but apparently that was enough to upset him all week.
Maybe.
Savannah the ghost hunter is afraid of ghosts. She is bad at her job.
She believes too
I
well.
think I ran across a trick mirror here.
Did it break?
Yeah, how did you know?
That's how you know it's a trick.
If Savannah is convinced the ghost is real, why is every Savannah conversation about how the hauntings were faked?
Can you help me translate an article I found? No one else is willing to.
Why can't Nancy use her Japanese dictionary to translate this article?
It's complex.
Why can't Nancy ask a random person on the train to translate this article, or one of her students, or anyone else?
Yeah, good point.
How does Nancy know Logan's last name starts with the letter M?
Yeah, I don't remember. I actually don't know.
The article on Kasumi cuts off mid-sentence. Nancy doesn't bother to find the rest of the article.
Oh well.
Why does Miwako keep a random tile in a guarded, locked box? Nancy plays with the
So
tiles
she
on the
doesn't lose it?
left, but she never touches the tiles on the right.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure why there's a duplicate here. Doesn't make sense to have... I don't know.
Puzzle reused from Game 19. There is a two-way peephole in the nude baths. This is perverted.
But it was locked. Yeah, no, that's a good point. That is messed up.
It is impossible for a peephole to connect the baths and the hidden room
Is
because
it?
the gardens are in between the two areas.
Are they? I think we're looking at the wrong side of the bath. Because behind the player right now, where the bath is, there's a wall and there's the exterior. I'm trying to picture this now, the layout of everything. I don't remember how it's supposed to be lit. You could be right. Could be. Yeah.
Why did Rentaro and Miwako come down here to have a fight? Does Miwako see Nancy or not? If she sees Nancy, why doesn't she mention it? If she doesn't see Nancy, why does she switch to Japanese?
私のことはほっといて。
This is the only time someone speaks Japanese in this game.
Yeah.
Everywhere else, the Japanese people speak English.
Yeah.
Even when Nancy is the only guest, they still switch the baths from male to female every day.
Well, a Rentaro needs to use it, I guess.
Even when Nancy is the only guest, they still have dozens of pairs of shoes here.
Those are slippers. Those are indoor walking slippers. Players are not supposed to... Well, guests are not supposed to be wearing their shoes inside Japanese residences.
That thing you left in our room. No one should ever see something like that.
We never find out what was left in the man's room.
Something creepy.
Nothing there.
But I took care of their room after they left. Everything was torn up, and the shoji had turned this dark ash color.
The guest, Miwako, and Rentaro all disagree with each other on what happened. Rentaro scares away guests by staining the door and cutting up everything in the room. Why didn't he try doing that to scare Nancy?
He's tried other tactics, for sure.
This puzzle.
Oh, nothing wrong with that
You
puzzle.
must place each item where it belongs.
And by that, I mean each item is already in place and you're not going to move them at all.
Good point. I think it would have... Well, I think that puzzle would have been way more fun if we actually went through the tea ceremony with all the steps, but that would be a lot of animation, and that would be a mega puzzle. It would be a mega activity.
Takai says nothing during this scene and pretends nothing happened.
They don't want to admit
Remember
to
when
all this
Savannah
stuff.
Woodham visited?
I don't recognize the name.
She's the one who wrote about the Ryokan.
I said I do not know who she is.
At this point, Nancy should pull out her copy of Savannah's book to jog Takai's memory.
Late night room service?
There is no room service at the Ryokan.
No annoying tourists calling up at 4 in the morning?
Maybe they took that ability away. It got annoying with the guests. I don't know.
The front desk is closed at 4 in the morning.
And yet, guests will still call, especially when creepy things happen.
In other games, Nancy is sensitive to people with dead relatives. In this game, Nancy's an absolute jerk to everyone about Kasumi.
I know.
Of all people, Nancy should know what it's like to lose a mother.
Right?
Do we ever learn what happened to Yumi and Miwako's father?
No,
So when
we
do we
don't.
see you? We'll give you the book.
Well, I'm a little wrapped up right now.
You are not busy, Nancy.
Would you like a phone charm?
This one's not so pretty, but since it's from you, I like it.
But you were the one who gave me the phone charm in the first place. If you give Yumi the phone charm, then make bento, she gives the phone charm back to you. Logan got Bess a book and a full outfit on the first date? Logan's trying too hard.
Yeah.
No book's title page puts a colon between by and the author's name. Also,
Oh, okay.
there's no space after the colon.
Oh, yeah, good
Rentaro
point.
tells Nancy all about the invention that she uses to defeat him. Culprit foils their own plot. Rentaro doesn't care if Nancy opens and shuts the door to his shed over and over. Nancy doesn't tell Miwako that she got the collar, not Rentaro. The only time
She gives credit to Rentaro, helping them patch up their relationship a little bit. Credit to the boyfriend.
Yumi visits the Ryokan, Nancy is hiding behind a tree. How
Yeah.
did Nancy not hear the keys splash in the water? She was 1 foot away from the pond.
It's a high sensitive recorder. Maybe Nancy's hearing is terrible.
This puzzle.
I need to go to the origami book to do this.
But earlier you did origami without the book. Nancy follows a
Yeah.
scavenger hunt, a fabulous treasure cliche.
Yeah.
The Ryokan grouped all the Sasakis together except one. Who came up with that room arrangement?
Wait, where's the other Sasaki? See, there's a whole bunch, like, right here. They ran out of space, maybe?
There are no rooms 2, 4, 6, or 8. This puzzle.
I know.
Culprit goes from mostly harmless sabotage to attempted murder with no prompting whatsoever.
It could be considered attempted murder, but it could also be just trying to knock her out.
Nancy jumps off a second-story balcony with no injuries at all.
I believe there's a sound effect for climbing down the tree right here.
Nancy never tells anyone about this death sequence.
So maybe you should check the records for a room that they don't let out to customers.
Nancy recognizes the room Savannah stayed in because they never let it out to customers. But if they never let it out to customers, why did they let Savannah stay there?
Maybe after Savannah found it. I mean, that's a good point. Why would they let... they probably let Savannah do some investigations because she was asking about the bath. And that's where the ghost would have started, at the death scene. So they probably let her have it, but no one else thereafter.
The Ryokan also doesn't let customers stay in rooms 3, 17, 21, 25, and 30. But Nancy doesn't bother investigating those rooms.
A passageway? To where?
I don't really remember exactly where it went.
How do you not remember where the hidden passageway leads? Nancy discovers a hidden passageway cliché.
We like that cliche.
This puzzle requires you to form letters in a foreign language.
But they're characters, so you can follow the lines.
I didn't notice how late it was getting. I sort of made you miss your last train back to the ryokan.
That one bento puzzle took hours, apparently.
Yep.
This haunting never gets explained.
A lot of the hauntings don't get explained entirely.
Kasumi set up this complicated series of puzzles on the odd chance that she would die soon. Why
That's where you take precaution to protect your will.
did she leave a sword with her will?
It's dangerous. Didn't want the kids to have it.
This puzzle.
I know.
If you mess up on this puzzle, it's basically impossible to figure out where you made the mistake.
You have to
There
reset.
is no ghost in the room when Nancy starts the puzzle, so Rentaro must have snuck in and placed the ghost while Nancy was doing renograms.
Probably.
Where did this net come from? This puzzle.
The joint near the elbow looks a lot like what Rentaro was working on in his shed.
But instead of confronting the culprit right away, Nancy decides to chat with Takai about Kasumi's will instead.
She doesn't chat with him right away because you can't find him just yet. You have to go and find the only person who's around that you can talk to, and that's where Nancy has the chance to confront Takai about the will.
Nancy knows Rentaro is a culprit, but she still accuses Takai of being guilty.
Yeah, she has some guilt.
Why is there a work order for the room no one ever uses? What is Rentaro using the wrench on? There aren't any bolts on the wall.
What are you doing in here?
He's filling the work order, Nancy. Duh.
I don't know, like, what is he actually doing, though?
Rentaro throws away his wrench for no reason.
He's mad.
I've got to find a way to keep him from escaping.
Rentaro's escape involves standing in place and staring at Nancy for 10 seconds. Why can't she let Rentaro escape? He doesn't have to be there for her to expose him to everyone else. Nancy traps a dangerous culprit in the same room as herself. That's not very safe.
Yeah, good point.
Rentaro attempts to kill Nancy twice in the game, but he doesn't try to kill her during the confrontation. Why does Nancy dump random inventory items on the ground here?
For the player to quickly assess and grab what is needed.
How does Rentaro not see Nancy prepare the recorder?
He might be trying to open up the door.
The veins on Rentaro's arms are popping out during the confrontation scene.
He's angry.
I guess he was pumping weights just before getting captured.
I don't want to be here when you tell her.
According to the picture, you were.
Yeah, okay.
Her classes in the traditional arts are booked for months in advance.
Her classes are booked months in advance? But why? Even when there were 5 families staying at the inn, Nancy was the only one to take the classes.
She'd always fit me in for a calligraphy lesson, even if it may be a bit of a lost cause.
Very well done, Nancy. This is the best I've ever seen from a new student.
Takai praises Nancy's work in the game, but in the ending, she hates Nancy's work. Earlier, Nancy's hair fell down to her shoulders. Now she appears to be bald.
Yeah, her hair is tucked up in a bun or a ponytail at this point. She's changed her appearance for when she goes and hangs out with the girls.
The game teases us with a fake picture of Nancy.
Yeah.
I know I've complained about this before, but I don't like how the top inch of the screen is a black bar. I would rather have a larger screen.
I second that motion.
Also, super nitpicky complaint here, the water on the cover and title screen is not the water where the Yurei attacks Nancy.
The cover art for the Nancy Drew Games boxes and, cover art, they're always stylized. Take it with a grain of salt. The art is never entirely accurate to what happens in the game. It is, like I said, it's a stylized interpretation. Sentence, calligraphy lessons for 3 weeks. How many problems? What do you mean?
Man only right now.
What do you mean?
Imaginations run wild.
What do you mean?
What she does.
What do you mean?
In more ways than one.
What do you mean?
To take its toll on her.
What do you mean?
Why would anyone want to stay?
What do you mean?
Not just some lines.
What do you mean?
Oh my goodness.
You're wrong.
What do you mean?
I've heard too much about it already.
What do you mean?
Not to be with Rentaro.
What do you mean?
Just be very cautious.
What do you mean?
If I were you.
What do you mean?
Bad news.
This is hilarious.
What do you mean?
It's what found me.
What do you mean? With a note from the author.
What do you mean?
I'm not getting very far with Miwako.
What do you mean?
What was that just a minute ago?
What do you mean?
Did you rewrite my name in red ink?
What do you mean?
These pictures you sent, isn't there?
What do you mean?
There's so many.
That's surprising.
There's so
What
many.
do you mean, surprising?
Especially now.
What do you mean, especially now?
Oh my
Then
gosh, I'm
it is
dying.
gone. Forever.
Oh, man.
What do you mean by that?
When you first meet him.
What do you mean by fake little brother?
Oh my goodness. Bonus round total 23. Wow. Okay, good catch. Good catch on the writing here. I like it. I like it. Well done. Okay, I appreciate this video. Good points. Good points all around. I didn't see too many actual errors and bugs and stuff, but logically some things didn't quite fit. I agree. And they're Nancy Drew games too, so they're very fictional in some things that make sense or not, especially when it comes to puzzles. Sometimes randomized is weird. Coincidental. A little too far-fetched? Maybe. Anyways, thanks for watching. Be sure to follow Arglefumph, or at least give him a thumbs up on this video by going to his channel or his playlist, and the link for that playlist is in the description below. I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.